Have you ever discovered a brand new genre? No?
Well, good on me, because I just found a brand new one to coin. I call it RNFK. Really not for kids. I would describe RNFK experiences as pieces of media that lure you into a false sense of security by using cutesy or nostalgic visuals and then sucker punch you in the guts with gore, vulgarity, horror, or all of the above at once.
Of course, the first thing that comes to mind after creating a new genre is, what is the perfect?
What is the absolute peak of the new genre you found? What does the rules of the genre the most justice?
Making an RNFK experience is just like making a cake. It's really easy to f it up.
Go too far in the cutesy direction, you get Good Advice Cupcake, which is just a bunch of desserts swearing at you every couple of minutes. But go too far in the vulgar direction, you get something like Happy Tree Friends, which is nothing but enough death and mutilation to rival God of War. Making the right decisions like balancing out the kiddiness and the adultiness and washing under your arms, you get stuff like Battle Block Theater, or DHMIS, some of my absolute favorite pieces of media of all time. But of course, I can't forget the unrivaled kings of RNFK, Newgrounds. Every single piece of RNFK media that has ever existed has some DNA that can be traced back to this very website, and I still don't know why. But still, none of these are striking the perfect balance that I'm looking for.
So I can hear exactly what you're all thinking.
Okay then, you ungrateful beach. What does strike the perfect balance for RNFK,
Well, I think the perfect RNFK experience would be something that's only subliminally cutesy but only vulgar enough to be rated PG-13. I think it would be a perfect gradient from light to dark, starting off as really cute and fun, maybe only a little violent, but then devolving into something just so messy and so beautiful you can't help but look up the meanings on Wikipedia. It should be a thing that has a main character made out of meat. A man, nay, a boy made out of meat. I think I've already heard of that game, though. Oh yeah, wait, it's called...
Super Meat Boy is a tough-as-nails action platform where you take control of a little block of meat with legs and guide him through life-threatening onslaughts of buzzsaws, pixel-perfect jumps, and the scariest and most deadly obstacle of all.
Salt.
I bet you're all wondering, why in the French hell would the peak of male physique want to go through all of this? What's his motivation? I pay my taxes, why should I care? Well, Meat Boy and his girlfriend, Bandage Girl, were going to start conceiving a child before marriage, which as we all know is a sin. So Dr. Fetus kidnaps Bandage Girl to save their souls before they commit such crimes. So Meat Boy has to go rescue Bandage Girl.
And you gotta help us.
This is a really good subversion of the classic mad scientist as the antagonist in a platformer trope. Mostly because Dr. Fetus isn't a doctor to begin with. Canonically, he stumbles upon most of his quote-unquote inventions by complete accident. So Bandage Girl gets kidnapped and Meat Boy immediately goes off to save her without a second thought.
Man, I wish I had a loving relationship like that.
Someday. So you walk into the forest, the gameplay kicks in, and oh my god, it's perfect. Seeing this wonderful little skinless skrunkly run, jump, slide, and do these obstacle courses gives you a feeling of speed and control like no other game has before. You're the fastest being in the universe. Nothing can stop you, except for the fact that you die at the single touch of literally anything. This game makes you feel powerful and helpless at the same time, and I love that. It keeps you feeling this way throughout the whole game by constantly introducing new obstacles. But all of them have patterns, so they're not impossible to figure out how to traverse. Except for these goddamn stupid hell mouth dogs. I can never figure out how to get around these. This is the only reason why I haven't 100%ed the game. If doing it with Meat Boy seems a little too hard for you, don't worry, there's a slew of other characters to pick from, all with their own unique playstyles to keep the game feeling fresh through every level. First is Mr. Bit Trip, who can actually fly. This is the most broken ability in the game, but I love him anyway. Next is Jill from the Mighty Jill-Off, who, to quote the wiki, is a submissive lesbian with a boot fetish. Her ability, she can do a manual Luigi. They also call it air brakes. Only if you're a stupid non-lesbian who can't fly because they call it air brakes instead of what it should really be called, manual Luigi. Next is Ogmo from Jumper, who has a shorter jump than Meat Boy, but he has a double jump to make up for it. The double jump also regenerates every time you jump back onto a wall, which can lead to some pretty tense encounters, I must admit. Next, there's Fly Wrench, who has the most mid-air jumps of any character. His downside, though, is that he's really heavy. Yes, that's right, even heavier than
Your mother.
Finally, there's the kid from I Want to Be the Guy Who... Well, hell, I can check those two off the list. I forgot to explain this. You have infinite lives, but if you touch literally anything besides the floor or a wall, you die. And you also respawn at the beginning of the stage if you die. Even without playing the game before, you can probably see the problem with this level. I did not beat this level. I refuse to beat this level, unless maybe you guys like this video and you guys say you want to see me do it on stream, then maybe I'll do it because it'll have some benefits.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I kind of forgot to mention about Super Meat Boy up until now. It's really difficult.
Super Meat Boy and me trying to upload on a consistent schedule have one strange thing in common. It's really freaking hard for some reason. Now, the game being hard, I'd say, is part of the game's design. I wouldn't call it a bad part of the game because it's literally what the game is all about. That is until you bring the Steam achievements into this.
On its original release for the Xbox 360, the achievement were stuff like Beat the Light World, Beat the Dark World, Get Every Bandage. All of the stuff made sense. What the hell is this, Steam? What the hell is this?
That's right, Steam wants you to beat every single level in every single world without dying once. This is frankly unacceptable. I'm not a fan of this. But that's okay. I can cool myself down by listening to some of these absolutely sick beats.
Yeah, the music is really good. So, due to some legal disputes, there are actually two soundtracks for this game, though. The first soundtrack was composed by Danny Baranowski, I hope that I'm pronouncing that right, and the second soundtrack was composed by Ridiculon.
Danny's soundtrack sounds more like a video game OST. My favorite Danny track has to be the McLarty Party, people. I can't, man, it's just so good. It makes me feel like my life is actually in order, like I have a significant other or something. It's fantastic. Ridiculon's soundtrack sounds more like a concert that I really want to go to now, but I can't because it's not real. My favorite song from Ridiculon has to be Meat Continuum. I love this one so much.
Music is important, because it ties back to why this is the perfect RNFK piece of media. Anyways, I'm gonna do what I did in the Wednesday video again and literally spoil the entire main plot. So, leave or don't leave. Your choice. Haha.
So after your fun little woodland romp, Dr. Fetus literally burns down the entire forest. After attacking you with a two-legged chainsaw mech, this is supposed to wake up all the 5-year-olds in the audience and say, hey, get out, this isn't for kids, look at all the dead squirrels. Isn't that funny? So after that, you head into World 2, the hospital. This world truly instills a feeling of, oh shit, I don't think this is kid-friendly. The boss of this world is a large infant blood clot named Chad, who you kill by exposing to sunlight, just like a real gamer.
What happens next is one of the most weird, sad, and disturbing moments in all of gaming. I'm just gonna show it to you nearly in full, just so that you can get the true experience. Be warned, it gets weird.
Dead Rising wishes, man. So after that piece of legal trial evidence, which they tried to pass off as a cutscene, you're now in the Salt Factory, my favorite world, personally. We've got missile launchers, piles of salt, and who could forget your evil clone made out of Dr. Fetus's most recent bathroom trip? Dr. Fetus starts flooding the factory with salt, so now you and your new best friend have to escape. After saving the best character in the game from near death, Dr. Fetus immediately kills him with bricks. How fun is that? So the fifth traumatizing wake-up call happens, and they decide, no, that's not enough, and Dr. Fetus kills Meat Boy. For real this time. So Meat Boy ends up in hell and finds a bunch of his old dead selves from whenever you died during the game, and then they all conglomerate together into a giant meat golem that tries to kill you. Side note, this is the only actually bad part of the game. It's just trial and error, and there's no good telegraphing for his attacks. It's just a really bad boss fight. So the meat golem kills himself to death, and then Dr. Fetus detonates a nuke, killing literally all life on Earth, except for Meat Boy, Bandaged Girl, and himself. So after finding his way through the literal fucking biblical rapture, Meat Boy beats up some worms or something, I don't know. But then Dr. Fetus flies away on his floating island, content with having escaped Meat Boy. But Meat Boy follows. You enter the final 5 levels, the hardest ones yet. You enter the squishy shoes of Meat Boy. You feel his struggle. You try again and again. You fail again and again. But you still persevere. The music blasting through your headset giving you strength. Every ounce of your brain screaming at you. This is the end. You can make it. You will make him pay. The squirrels in the forest. Your poor boy Chad. Your dead stepbrother Brownie. All of your past lives. The entire human race. And your girlfriend Bandage Girl. They will be avenged. He will pay. So the final showdown between Dr. Fetus and Meat Boy occurs, and Meat Boy kills Dr. Fetus, which he was in every right to do. It's his bodily autonomy. He can choose to do it if he wants to. So Dr. Fetus self-destructs the floating island, and Meat Boy and Bandage Girl only escape by the skin of their teeth, because Brownie sacrifices himself again for their sake. This is weird. Why did he do it again? That's it. You did it. Meat Boy and Bandage Girl are finally together again at last. Watching the floating island explode before them, they realize just how beautiful they are together. Oh yeah, and then Dr. Fetus flies down from the sky and starts beating up Bandage Girl, and that's why this is the best game ever made.
And that is why I think Super Meat Boy is the perfect RNFK experience, and also why it lands itself right here on the list of my favorite games. Now, even though I just spoiled the entire plot, do I still think you should play Super Meat Boy? Yes, it's really, really good. I literally think everyone should play it. Unless you don't want to play it, then don't play it. But it's a really good game. Well, that's all I have to say for today. May your boy be super meaty, and I'll see you